USA Wrestling head national team coach of the women's freestyle team. Terry Steiner here on the outskirts of Paris. A couple days out from competition, Olympic Games. How do you manage 6 athletes on 6 different schedules as they prepare for the Olympic Games at this point?
Well, you rely on a lot of different people, right? You rely on that. We got it separated into like 2 groups. Group 1 is here right now. Group 2 is back in Normandy. So in charge of those 2 groups, I have Katie Kriebel, my assistant, is in charge of Group 1. Jess Medina is in charge of Group 2. And then the personal coaches from each group and the workout partners for each athlete. There's those mini teams, those 6 mini teams are responsible for communicating with those 2 assistant coaches on their times, their training times, and where our training partners and personal coaches are supposed to be when the Olympian wants to step on the mat or do a weight cut or whatever they're doing. Whenever they need them around, they just need to make sure we do it on WhatsApp, so they just need to make sure they're following their WhatsApp and knowing where they need to be at all times. So other than that, then there's some freedom, within those groups and their movement and what they can do. They can enjoy Paris as well, right? It's not all work at this point. The work's mostly done, right? It's just the fine tuning and getting done what the athletes need to get done. But, just making sure the athletes are covered and their needs are being met.
You got coaches in one place, training partners in another, the athletes in a third place. You mentioned the challenges from a timing standpoint, but what about just logistically from a planning standpoint? What went into getting everything lined up for Paris?
Well, I think you just focus on the main things right away, right? I mean, we knew we needed workout. We knew we needed mats. We knew we needed a sauna and a fitness room. So that's where it starts, right? And then how can we accommodate around that, And so we have an Olympian hotel that's right close to the fitness center. So, if we could get everyone there, we would have, but we couldn't, right? So then the training partners are the next ones that, we figure that we need to take care of them a little bit more than the personal coaches. The personal coaches have been around the block a few times, and they can find their way. So that's kind of how it is. The Olympians are very close; they're right next door. The workout partners are a couple miles away, and then the personal coaches are about 6 miles away. But just focusing on that first, and then their meals. They have breakfasts at the hotels where they're at. We also have Nuani, our dietitian, making sure the Olympians are getting what they need during meal times, and then the others have per diem to go out and get their meals and go to a restaurant of their choice or whatever they want. So just trying to take care of the basic needs, right? And then the next, the transportation is the obstacle as well, right? Because traveling by car here is tough. So whether it's on foot, whether it's by train, whether it's by a bike, whatever that is, just that's up to them on how they want to do that.
Tokyo, we were kind of in a bubble where we're all pretty much on lockdown. I imagine pretty easy to focus on what you have to do there. For 5 of your 6, this is your first traditional Olympics. Helen went through the routine in Rio, but for the other 5, how do they manage that? Do you encourage them to get out and see some other stuff? Do you want them kind of laying low? What's the process there?
Yeah, just manage it, right? Manage your time. No, we're here for a reason. This isn't a vacation, right? So just making sure that they know and understand that first and foremost, that let's make sure we're ready for the job at hand. And so, if they want to go meet their parents or they have friends that go out for a lunch or something like that, meet up with them for an hour or 2. But let's make sure we're taking care of ourselves and doing what we need to do. There's plenty of time afterwards for that kind of, visitation and celebration, hopefully. So, right now it's just really taking care of business. We're 3 days out of competition, maybe even 2 days today, right out of competition for a meet. And so right now it's just really putting your nose down and getting done what you need to get done in the wrestling room or in the fitness room, and then letting your body rest and rejuvenate, in between that. So come competition day, we have all the energy that we need.
What did you appreciate most about Normandy?
Well, just the quietness of it, right? I mean, I think it's a great place to go just to center ourselves, and gives us some time to think about what we're about to get into, right? The importance of what we're doing and why we're doing it in the first place. I think you have to come back to that. I think every time before competition like this, it's very important to come back to kind of the roots of why did you start this journey in the first place. Look at the opportunity in front of you and be excited about it, right? Be excited about what's in front of you and not turn it into a burden, right? Of coming in here and having weight on your shoulders. This is an opportunity, a challenge in front of them, and we should be excited about it when we step on that competition mat. So I think a place like Normandy allowed us to get away from the rat race of Paris, get away from the noise and the busyness, and just let us really center in on ourselves and relax. You know, we were in one setting, everyone was in the same place, so all the logistics were a lot easier there. So it gave us about 5-6 days of that, just coming together, making sure the athletes, are in the right place mentally.
We talked about this off camera. I want to ask you again, though, your thoughts on the schedule and the way it's set up with an athlete a day over the course of the week. What are the pros and cons of that? How do you feel about that?
Well, there's definitely pros and cons to it, right? The pros are that we're in the spotlight for 7 days of competition, right? And that, we don't get that very often for women's wrestling. So to have that in the spotlight of the Olympic Games for 7 days is a great thing, right? The hard part is it's a long tournament, it's a long competition, and for Amit's group, her family and friends that are here, and for them to be able to stay the whole time and be able to have event tickets the whole competition is a hard thing. So they're probably not going to be here, or at least in the stands when Kennedy Blades steps on the mat, right? So that makes it really hard, and vice versa there as well, right? I mean, Kennedy Blades' parents probably aren't coming in until tomorrow or the next day, but probably not going to competition until later. So the event tickets, the prices are pretty high and somewhat unaffordable for the average person. So that makes it difficult. But there's always a give and take in life, right? There's always that give and take. And so the hard part from a coaching standpoint is, right, Amit starts on Monday and Kennedy starts on Saturday. I may not see Kennedy once competition starts, right? And so then that's where the personal coaches and the staff coaches really have an important role here in making sure that person comes into competition, rested and ready to perform. So there's a lot of us, just everyone has to do their part, right? And if we do that, if we take just everyone does their part, we have a great team. So we have high expectations going in, and hopefully we can come out feeling very good about it.
What have you seen from Kennedy Blades, first senior level team? Obviously, she and Amit are pretty young.
Yeah.
First Olympic team for both of them. What have you seen from Kennedy specifically as she's prepared?
Well, I really like her preparation, right? I mean, I think she understands. She's been on big stages before, right? I mean, she was a junior world champion. I mean, she's been to the ranking event where she's beat some top people. I mean, she's been around this group. She knows that she's right in there, right? But I really like how she's gone about her business, right? She's very professional and really an outstanding athlete, right? And so just helping her be comfortable in her own skin, helping her realize that it's her time, right? She doesn't have to wait until she's 24 years old to win. She can win right now, right? And so just making sure she understands that and really just being supportive and being around her, and giving her what she needs.
Two athletes have pretty well documented weight cuts, Amit and Sarah. What have you seen from them? How is their weight trending in your estimation?
I think they're doing a great job, right? I think Nuani's done a great job with them and making sure, Nuani's done a great job with Sarah, making sure she's, on track and had the right plan coming in. Amit has her brother, Ori, who's very proficient in that area, really counting everything for her and making sure she's getting what she needs. So I don't worry too much about that from my position. I just make sure that our dietitians and Ori are up to speed on what, and in tune to what those athletes need. But what I see in their energy level, whether it's on the mat or in the fitness room, is very good right now. And I think we're in a good place.
For Helen, a big focus has to be on the Japanese wrestlers beating her. two times previous. How much focus is there, and how are you seeing her game plan develop towards that specific of an athlete?
I think for Helen, it's letting herself open up, right? I think obviously Japan is there. I mean, Nigeria is there. We got some tough people in this, right? Moldova's tough. I mean, so it's not just about that. I think it's more the focus is on Helen, and making sure we step on the mat and let ourselves open up when we get out there, and let's not worry too much about what our opponent does. Let's get out. Of course, there's certain tactics and tendencies that we have, but let's make sure we get out there and are wrestling our match, right? And getting our movement going. When Helen is moving how she's capable of moving, she has a lot of different ways to score points, right? And I think we just need to make sure we're on the offense and attacking mode when we're out there. And if Helen does that, we all know that her upside is very high, right? And so that's the focus with Helen.
Cool. Appreciate your time, Coach.
You bet. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be a great few days. So let's enjoy it.
Let's go. Thanks, Coach.